Good evening. Welcome to the Upsilon Chapter Induction Ceremony and Annual Business Meeting. I'm welcoming our chapter leaders, all of our inductees and guests to this event this evening. My name is Carol Lisk, and I'm the president of Psi Upsilon. I'd like to also introduce our officers. Vice President, Deborah Abbey. Secretary, Tracy Lookenbill. Treasurer, Vanessa Lee. Counselor, Elsie Chidester. And our leadership team, our group of advisory board members composing our committee chair. Finance Committee, Philip Tarantino. Governance Committee, Tammy Owen. Induction Planning Committee, Christy Johnson. Leadership Succession Committee, Candace Johnson. Membership Involvement Committee, Patty Rowe. Program Committee, Jeanette Benson. Publicity Committee, Melissa McLaren. Scholarship and Research Committee, Beth Register. Service Committee, Heidi Johnson Anderson. Strategic Planning Committee, Leanne Farmer. And Technology Committee, Janine Barrett. Before I forget, I'd like to extend our special thanks to three of our leaders who were quite instrumental in preparing this event this evening. Elsie Chidester, our counselor, and Christy Johnson, our Induction Planning Committee chair, and of course Janine Barrett, who's moderating our event this evening. Thank you, all three of you, for your wonderful work. We really appreciate it. So again, the first part of our event this evening is our induction ceremony, and we have several hundred inductees being inducted into our chapter this evening. Psi Upsilon chapter was chartered as the 546th chapter of Sigma on July 12, 2017, at which time we received our crest, the plaque that you see me holding, and our charter to serve as a member of the global Sigma community. The crest that I was holding includes images that represent the pillars and foundational principles of Sigma. The eye on the crest represents wisdom and discernment. Service, professional endeavor, and strength of leadership is represented by the pillars of stone, and knowledge is represented by the lamp. Several other symbols of Sigma include the key or the pin that you will often see people wear, and most recently with the new branding, the laurel. The laurel branch represents the excellence of Sigma nurses. You'll notice in the image in the bottom right corner that the final three leaves, the three end leaves, are separate from the branch, representing the three elements of Sigma: scholarship, leadership, and service. On the key or membership pin, the Greek letters are in black, represent our charge. The cup denotes the satisfaction of professional life. The circle with 6 stars represents our 6 founders, and the lamp is the lamp of knowledge. The name of Sigma, Theta, Ta represents our core values, representing love, courage, and honor. These are the values that we hold dear in our professional organization. Sigma represents global nursing excellence, and our mission is to advance world health and celebrate nursing excellence in scholarship, leadership, and service. Our vision is to be the global organization of choice for nurses. The past of Sigma was when the organization was started in 1922 by 6 nurses who were nursing students at what is now Indiana University, or the Alpha chapter of Sigma. Currently, Sigma has more than 500 chapters worldwide and over 150,000 members in more than 90 countries. You will find that as a member of Sigma, our organization serves as a lifelong resource. There are many benefits to membership, and you will see that in addition to career advisement and virtual networking around the globe, you also have access to wonderful scholarly journals, resources through the Virginia Henderson e-repository. On the Circle, there are many discussion blogs and communities of special interest that you can join in and converse with nurses around the world. And ultimately, my favorite place is the Sigma Marketplace, where you can find great examples of Sigma materials, books and resources, and items that represent your commitment to nursing and the organization. A very important element of Sigma is our international presence. And about 6 years ago, Sigma actually became a member of the United Nations, and in recent years achieved what we refer to as ECOSOC status, where they are a consultant on economic and social issues. We are actually sitting at the table. Sigma also has conducted a global advisory panels in different regions of the world to discuss the future of nursing and midwifery. The panels have been concluded, and they now have developed almost 100 recommendations upon which much of Sigma, the International Council of Nurses, and other international nursing organizations are addressing to move forward in promoting the future of nursing and midwifery. So tonight, our inductees and those of you that have recently joined our chapter, find yourselves in distinguished company. Sigma members represent over a third of us have advanced degrees with masters or doctorates. Over half of the Sigma members work in hospital or multi-hospital settings, and about a quarter of us, a little less, work in schools of nursing. So you have the opportunity to network with nurses in every facet of our professional community. You are Sigma, and as soon as the induction ceremony concludes, you will be joining this international world of nursing. Each biennia, every 2 years, Sigma's president develops a call to action. Our current president is Beth Baldwin Tiggis, who was installed in her position in 2017 at the biennial convention. Her presidential call to action was titled Connect, Collaborate, and Catalyze. To be the global organization of choice, we must connect with fellow nurses and partners and share our message through technology. To advance world health and celebrate nursing excellence, we need to intentionally collaborate and foster creative and innovative thinking. To be a catalyst for transformation, we must produce fundamental transformational change as visionary nurse leaders. All of our activities in Sigma during the 2017 and 2019 biennia reflect these ideas of connecting, collaborating, and catalyzing. So tonight, we have hundreds of inductees present who will be inducted into the Sigma community. We also have many inductees who weren't able to join us this evening who are also joining us in our Psi Upsilon chapter. So let's go ahead and get started with the induction. I will be streaming through several slides, and you will notice that Psi Upsilon now has almost 1,000 members in every state in the Union. Inductees this evening include representatives from Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, and Arkansas. California has a tremendous representation. Colorado, Florida, Georgia. We welcome new members from Hawaii and Idaho, Illinois, my home state, Indiana, the site of the first chapter, Iowa, Kansas, and Kentucky. Welcoming new members from Louisiana, Maryland, Massachusetts, and Michigan. We also have inductees from Missouri, Minnesota, and Mississippi, Montana, Nevada, New Jersey, and New Mexico, New York, North Carolina, and North Dakota, Ohio, one of the new WGU state schools, Oklahoma and Oregon, Pennsylvania and Rhode Island, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, Utah and Vermont, Virginia and Washington, West Virginia and Wisconsin. We also would like to welcome transfer and dual members who have recently joined our chapter. Thank you so much for considering Psi Upsilon in your Sigma membership. Please know that all of your names will remain on the recording of this event for you to retain for your professional portfolios. So please know that as you are inducted into Sigma, you now become a member of the global community of Sigma Theta Tau. I will ask Melina Jones, a new multiple chapter member, to recite the pledge on behalf of all inductees and new members. Thank you, Melina. Welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Lisk.
So
I
please,
accept membership in Sigma Theta Tau International, and I pledge to fulfill its commitment to nursing excellence, knowledge, service, and leadership throughout my career.
Thank you. So all inductees, please know that on behalf of each and every one of you, we are accepting you into this great organization, Sigma. Thank you. Congratulations. As a member of Sigma, joining this global community of nursing, it's an academic honor, but it's also a professional mandate to remain engaged, to continue your involvement in Sigma, to make a difference. Please know that each and every one of you contribute greatly to the success of our organization as you lead and transform nursing around the United States and the globe. I also like to take a moment to not only thank you and your colleagues and friends, but also your families. We know that your success academically at WGU also as professional nurse leaders, comes from a tremendous support system, your colleagues, friends, and family. So we take a moment to thank all of you who are attending today in support of your family member who has been inducted into our organization. Thank you so much for your support and encouragement. And now I would like to introduce Dr. Laura Carver, Director in the College of Health Professions at Western Governors University. Laura will be providing our keynote speech for you today. Welcome, Laura.
Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Laura Carver. I'm Director of the College for Health Professions at WGU. I'm excited to be here, and I'm glad to see that we have so many new inductees. I remember when I was inducted into Sigma Theta Tau a very long time ago, and it's quite an honor, and you're joining quite a large group of special individuals. Okay, so today I'm going to talk to you about appreciation at work. I'm sure that all of you as professional nursing leaders, you have a leadership position, whether it's a formal role as a unit manager or perhaps an informal role like a team leader or a leader of a task force, or even in your personal life as a community leader or some other role that you may hold. As we go through this presentation, I'd like you to think about yourself in your role as a leader, or even as a member of a team, and what it means to feel appreciated in the workplace or whatever setting it pertains to you. I think most people have heard of the concept of job satisfaction. A very simplified definition of job satisfaction is how content is someone with their job. This has been extensively researched, and basically this slide shows how several things contribute to feelings of job satisfaction. People want to have mentally challenging work, supportive working conditions, equitable rewards, and personality job fit, and supportive colleagues. Job satisfaction tells us some of the story, but the real heavy hitter is organizational commitment. My dissertation research involved the concept of organizational commitment, and I'll give you a simplified version of that theory real quick. So you can click on. All right. This one might be a little hard to see, but there's basically three types of commitment that feed into organizational commitment: effective, continuance, and normative. Effective is staying in a job because you want to. You really like the atmosphere of your job, it's fun, you just enjoy the work, and that's the reason that you want to be there. The second reason, or the second type is continuance, which is staying because you need to. The salary is too good for you to leave, you need benefits for your kids, whatever the reason is that you need to stay in your job. Normative commitment is staying because you ought to. You have a feeling of obligation. Like if I leave, they won't have anyone to replace me, or they've done so much for me already, I feel like I should stay. And that's normative commitment. So those things come together to make an overall commitment to an organization. So think about the different jobs you've had over the years and when you may have been in these various levels of commitment in that job. Sometimes you think, I know for me, when I was in school, or when I first became a nurse graduate, I felt like I had to stay there forever because they helped me pay for school. And that, that feeling quickly passed. But there's certain times in your career where you just have that feeling that you need to stay somewhere. So how did these different times in your career impact your decision to stay in the organization or not? Maybe there's people that you work with or on your team who are operating from one of these places. Do you think the level of engagement that's demonstrated by each of these types of commitment would be different? I think so. So next slide, please. So a report was done by the Society for Human Resource Management, and it measured some broad categories of factors that contribute to employee job satisfaction, things like career development, compensation, benefits, work environment, et cetera. And they found the top 5 very important reasons for job satisfaction as the following. Can you click to the next slide? Okay, and then we were going to do this as a game, but it's not as interactive in this format, so click it again. So the top 5 very important reasons were respectful treatment of all employees at all levels, compensation and pay just overall, benefits overall, and job security and trust between employees and senior management. So those are the top 5 reasons, the very important reasons to be satisfied by the very satisfied employees. So think about how that pertains to yourself. Okay, so next slide, please. So now we have the shocking statistic that Gallup reported 70% of employees report they receive no praise or recognition at work. Can you click again? And in a 2009 international study, the majority of people said they trust a stranger more than they trust their boss. This is a very sad state of affairs, and I think that there's a lot that we can do to try to improve our conditions at work. Click, please. I'm sure we've all heard someone in our work environment say, or maybe even you've thought these things ourselves, I feel like no matter what I do, it's never enough. I can't measure up to expectations, so why try? If I don't meet my manager's expectations, I'll get in trouble and lose my job. There have been so many changes here lately. What's going to happen next? What's going to happen to me? So when you're feeling like that, that's not a place of feeling satisfied with your work. Okay, so I have a cartoon on the next slide. It says, he's quitting. He wants a certificate that he worked 10 years here, sir. The 6 months under you was like 10 years, he says. This is not how we want to live our lives, right? Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so let's talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs for a minute. We all know about this. We learned this in school maybe a long time ago, but we remember that at the bottom of the pyramid is the physiological needs that everyone has: air, food, water, shelter, sleep, etc. What's on the next level up? Safety and security. This has employment listed right there, and a lot of other things on that level are related to that job, aren't they? You know, your health benefits maybe, being able to afford your house, having social stability, all those things are related to that job that you have, making you feel like you're safe and secure. So you could see how that continuance commitment can come in there because you feel like you need to stay there because you might lose these other things. And then the next level up, of course, is love and belonging, and then self-esteem. You can see how those items are also related to our jobs and job satisfaction, can't you? It's, you know, the feeling of connection to the people that we work with, and then our self-esteem, our confidence is our achievements, perhaps, that we're doing in our job. So all those things can be related to job satisfaction. Can you go to the next slide? So Stephen Covey said, next to physical survival, the greatest need of a human being is physiological survival, to be understood, to be affirmed, to be validated, and to be appreciated. So that brings us to appreciation at work. Can you flip to the next slide? All right. So when we feel valued and appreciated, we're able to perform at peak levels. Feeling cared for and supported increases our mental and emotional well-being and translates into improved work performance. So you can see that underlying everything that we want to have a great place to work, we need to make sure people feel valued and appreciated at work. I'm sure some of you, I think that next slide, I'm sure some of you have heard of Gary Chapman and the 5 love languages. Well, he collaborated with a man called Paul White on a book called The 5 Languages of Appreciation in the Workplace. And I came across this at the bookstore, and it just really spoke to me. I had enjoyed the theory of the 5 love languages, and then to see this applied to the workplace, it just, you know, it piqued my interest, and we've shared this with our managers here at WGU. So the basis of the theory is that there's 5 ways that people feel loved or appreciated by others. And then those ways are on here. We have words of affirmation, quality time, acts of service, tangible gifts, and physical touch. So we'll go through each one of those really fast. What's the next slide? Okay, so words of affirmation. So this would be verbal praise for an achievement or accomplishment, but it needs to be specific and authentic. So it needs to be, you know, Carol, I love the way you handled that situation just now. You know, you really handle it in a professional manner, right? So you're giving her praise for a specific situation. Affirmation of character can also be part of that, and it looks beyond performance and focuses on the inner nature of the person. So those character traits may be things such as courage, perseverance, forgiveness, honesty. Those are things that you can use in words of affirmation as well. I love how you showed courage in the face of that challenge, and you persevered in the face of whatever was happening. So those are things we can say to people, and we shouldn't stop ourselves from sharing our appreciation with others because it's so meaningful and powerful. You can also provide praise for positive personality traits. One second, Carol. The positive personality traits are things such as being optimistic or neat or a planner or being a logical person. Those are personality traits, and they can make someone feel really good about themselves and how they stand out from others. Okay, next one. Okay, next one. Keep in mind, though, when you're using words of affirmation, the most important thing is location. Some people don't want to have public praise for things that they've done. They prefer personal one-on-one affirmation. Some people prefer to be praised in front of others. So when you say, oh, we're in this meeting and, I'm going to use Carol because her face is right in front of me. So Carol did a great job on that project, so we're going to praise her in front of the other people on her team, and she's going to feel really good. But if she's a really shy person and she doesn't like that, then it might backfire on us. So it's good to know your people that you're talking to and you're working with to try to know what works best for them. Written affirmation can just be a handwritten letter to say thank you, good job, congratulations. And then public affirmation, again, it's when people win awards. And if words of affirmation are to be most effective, they have to be in the context of a positive, healthy relationship. The public affirmation one, some people really, really don't want to stand up in front of a crowd. So I had someone I used to work with, and every year he would win an award for being the best support staff that we had in our facility. And every year he had to go up and get this award, and he hated it, every minute of it. But he did it, and if the people really knew him well, they would know that would not be the way that he would feel appreciated at work. We need to find a different language for him. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so there's your little positive words. You are awesome. Don't ever forget it. Okay, quality time was the next one. Ooh, I'm sorry. Wait a minute, go back. There you go, quality time. Okay, so giving people your focused attention. So quality time sometimes is hard to come by in the workplace where we're very, very busy, but having quality conversations, shared experiences, small group dialogues where you can share, what's going on in your life and what's going, just getting to know each other. Or perhaps it could just be working in close proximity on a project. Say somebody's working on some type of project and you just come along and you say, hey, let me help you with that. And this could be an act of service as well, but the time that you spend with each other working on something mutually, that can count as quality time. And that can be very important to people in all settings. Can you go to the next slide? So acts of service. So this is good. We've all heard of random acts of kindness, and people really appreciate that. But be sure that you ask before you help. Some people don't look at this as a way to feel appreciated. They just feel like you're trying to take over what they're trying to do. So you want to ask before you help. And you also want to serve voluntarily. You don't want to do it because you're like, oh, I know she wants me to do an act of service. So, like maybe, I don't know, some of our husbands or spouses are saying, I guess I have to take out the trash. But you want to do it voluntarily, and you want to check your attitude, and you want to make sure you're doing it for the right reasons, because that's a big part of appreciation. It needs to be genuine. And if you're going to help someone, do it their way. If they say, yes, I'd love for you to help me, this is what I'm doing, don't take over the task and say, let me show you a better way to do it. You want to help them. And then make sure you finish what you start. If somebody says, yeah, I'd love for you to help me organize this stuff, and then you get distracted and wander off, then it's completely lost its message of them feeling appreciated. Next slide. Tangible gifts. So giving gifts to those people who appreciate them, or giving a gift that the person values. An example of this is, say a colleague at work loves to go to baseball games with his family, and that's just what he loves to do. He's a total baseball fanatic. You know, if you gave him a toaster or a coffee mug, it might not have as much meaning to him as if you gave him baseball tickets or something related to baseball. So be thoughtful in the gift that you give. And, you know, some people appreciate it and some people just, that's not their thing. So it doesn't mean anything. So you may feel, you know, I appreciate getting gifts, so this other person should appreciate giving them too, but that's not always the case. Next slide, please. Now, physical touch. Now, this is a tricky one in the workplace because people get really concerned about physical touch in the workplace, rightly so. But keep in mind, you need to know your audience. It depends on the person, the type of relationship, and the organizational subculture. There's things you can do, such as a firm handshake, a pat on the back, a high five. You know, some people are huggers, but it's best to check and see, you know, hey, can I give you a hug? Is that something that you're comfortable with? Because some people aren't into that at all. And we were teasing, because we are a virtual university, that we could do virtual high fives if you put your hand on the screen. I personally don't like fingerprints on my screen, but we'll just do virtual high fives. Okay, so then the next slide. Okay, so appreciation at work, it's an appreciation for others is grounded in the value you hold for them as a person. It can't only be when things are going right. Sometimes people are having a bad day, and that's the time that they need to feel more appreciated. So say you see this Matt, and he's having a terrible day, and he's stomping around and all this, and you can say, Matt, it looks like you're having a challenging day. Is there anything I can do to help? You know, you're offering an act of service. Ooh, I got an echo. Or you could, you know, pat him on the back and say, you know, what can I do to help? There's different ways that you can work in the different love languages and languages of appreciation. For this one, it looks like it would be an act of service to say, what can I do to help you out? Next slide, please. So what if we don't appreciate a member of our team or someone we work with? Sometimes that does happen. So just check and make sure you don't have unrealistic or unclear expectations. Check yourself and make sure you have all the information. Maybe the person is having personal problems or physical problems. Maybe their work ethic's just not as high as yours, or maybe they're lacking training or tools. Whatever you can do to try to overcome those challenges that are making you not feel appreciative towards a team member is the place to start. And of course, if there are performance issues, you want to work through those and you want to ask for help if you need some. Next slide, please. So it's important to remember that appreciation can go in any direction. This works when we apply it, you know, without reserve. So we can appreciate our people that we report to, and we can appreciate people that report to us, and we can appreciate our peers, and it's all good. You want to spread it all around. It doesn't have to just be top down. So appreciate your teammates, the people that you work with in whatever setting that you're in, and those people maybe that are in cross-functional teams as well. Can you go to the next slide? The 5 Languages of Appreciation at Work has a website where you can go online and take motivation by appreciation inventory. And this will give you the idea of which one is your primary, secondary language, and then your least valued language. If one of those 5 languages is not important to you, which, say, for instance, you're not a tangible gift person, you'll have a blind spot in the thought of giving people gifts. So if somebody is really into tangible gifts and it's not even on your radar to think about it, those 2 people won't connect in the way that they could if they listen to the other person's language. I hope that makes sense. I feel bad we can't really ask questions. Next slide, please. Okay, so can you click it again? So to summarize, just go ahead and put it up there. Appreciation is at the center of everything. So with showing appreciation to each other in the workplace, it can lead to greater job satisfaction. And like I said, organizational commitment comes from there to where you've got people more committed to the organization for the right reasons. Not that I'm here because I need to be. It's I'm here because I feel valued and supported by my colleagues and all those things. And then overall, the health of the organization will improve. And all the research indicates these things lead to increased productivity, less turnover, and a great customer experience for everybody. And I think that's it. Oh, and a great employee experience. We don't want to forget that. Sorry. Yes, thank you so much, Carol, for having me and letting me share the things that I'm passionate about. I hope everybody can take something away from this and go out and appreciate those that you work with and make the world a better place. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Laura. This is excellent. And you demonstrate appreciation in the workplace every day. And you know, it's all about building relationships. And that's the beauty of what we do in our workplaces and also in this organization. So thank you so much for highlighting that. I appreciate you joining us this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. I did want to mention that Sigma is actually hosting a healthy work environment conference in February, and I believe it's in New Orleans. So please feel free to look at the Sigma website for upcoming events that echo everything that Laura shared with us today about appreciation in the workplace and healthy work environments. I also wanted to just remind everybody that we just are so delighted that you're a part of our organization. The induction ceremony is the beginning of your journey, both in terms of Sigma and for many of you, your professional journeys. You're completing your bachelor's degree, master's degree, and doctorates, and your professional careers and your trajectories may change because of your scholarly endeavors. So please know that we support you. We're glad you're part of our chapter, and we know that we will be there to help you in any way that we can. So this concludes our induction ceremony, and I invite you all to continue to join us as we move into our first annual business meeting. You'll hear from each of our officers and our committee chair brief reports so you can get an update about what's happening in our chapter and what we anticipate our goals to be for the next fiscal year. So with that, I would like to call our annual business meeting to order. And Secretary Lookinville, would you be kind enough to confirm attendance and quorum?
Hi, President List. I'm confirming we have 5 board members present and 8 committee members present, with an overall total of 89 attendees present. Quorum for this meeting has been established.
Thank you. And to achieve quorum for the annual business meeting, we need at least, as Secretary Lookinville mentioned, at least 7 members and 3 officers, and we have far more than that. So we have certainly established quorum. And now I would like to just show the overview as you are seeing on your screen of the agenda, and I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as written.
President List, since this is our first business meeting, no prior meeting minutes have been established to approve.
Thank you. And now we're going to move into our officer reports. As president of the chapter, the primary focus of my activity this year has been to establish the infrastructure for a successful chapter as we move forward. All the officers of the Honor Society were quite instrumental in the planning of the Psi Upsilon chartering event last July. We worked together very closely to establish chapter operational infrastructure. Deborah Abey, the vice president, and I served as a member of the Sigma House of Delegates at the 2017 Biennial Convention. We have appointed all of our chapter the officers were installed when we were chartered, and every one of our committees is fully functioning with a committee chair and membership. So our board of directors, our committee chair who serve as advisors to the board, and all of our committee members are fully installed. We also oriented leaders to their roles and responsibilities. That was done both in terms of using the resources on the Sigma site, and also all of the leaders met with our chapter resource staff at the Sigma headquarters in Indianapolis. We also facilitated the development of our 2017-2019 strategic plan, which you'll hear a little bit more about later on, that aligns with the Chapter Key Award offered by Sigma every biennium. We've operationalized membership eligibility criteria by verifying our student selection process. We reconfirmed our nurse leader selection process and collaborated with the counselor and our Sigma staff to refine our online induction process. We've promoted a robust membership recruitment and engagement plan, facilitated active participation of committee leaders and members in launching all of our committee activities. And finally, we've collaborated with the WGU nursing leadership to promote chapter events and leverage Sigma to enhance the nursing at the university. So my goals as president will very much echo what I've already been doing. For next year, to promote chapter growth through our robust leadership development and member recruitment, to review membership eligibility criteria in collaboration with the Sigma Governance Committee, and to qualify for our first Sigma Chapter Key Award. The next report will be provided by our Vice President, Deborah Abey.
Hello. I've served as the Psi Upsilon delegate, as Carol has mentioned, in the 2017 and 2019 biennial convention. Have assisted in the chapter president as needed, along with assisted with the chartering ceremony in July of last year, 2017, and performed oversight of the Friends of Sigma Award. Also, I have provided oversight of the chapter purchases for recruitment and events such as banners and awards that we've given to individuals. Collaborated with the chair of the Strategic Planning Committee in the development and implementation of the 2017 and 2019 strategic plan, which has been very interesting and rewarding to see how our chapter has grown, and we'll talk about that more later. My goal for 2018-2019 is to assist as necessary in activities designated by the chapter president, to provide oversight in supporting chapter operations, and to collaborate with the Strategic Planning Committee in implementing the 2017-2019 plan and in the development of the 2019 and 2021 strategic plan, which has been a pleasure of mine throughout this year.
Thank you very much, Deborah. We appreciate your report. Our next report will be given by Tracy Lookinville, our secretary.
Thank you, President Lynn. Accomplishments for 2017 to 2018 include I was appointed to serve as chapter officer in the role of interim secretary, collaboration with President List to prepare and organize board and annual business meetings, collaborated with publicity chair to develop member communication templates, worked with technology chair to establish a repository for chapter documents, provided recognition of members for personal and professional events. Future goals for 2018 and 19 include continuing to support planning for chapter meetings in addition to developing a repository for our chapter documents.
Thank you very much. Our treasurer report, Vanessa Lee.
Hi. I collaborated with the president to establish a finance committee, developed the 2017-2019 chapter budget, monitored chapter finances and provided monthly reports to the board, and also facilitated the application of our chapter insurance, which is the fidelity bond and also the board liabilities. My goals for 2018 to 2019 are.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Okay.
My goals for
My goals for
2018 to 2019
is to work with the Finance Committee to promote chapter financial security, work with the Finance Committee to finalize financial policies and procedures, and to monitor all chapter financial activities, to provide the monthly financial reports to the chapter board of directors.
And now Vanessa will provide us with our annual budget report.
Okay, the total income and expenses for our past fiscal year, which started July 12th of 2017 to June 30th of this year, our income was $18,909.04. We had expenditures of $3,609.11. And as of June 10th, 2018, we have an account balance of $15,299.93. Our chapter financial reports are posted on the chapter website for review.
Thank you very much, Vanessa. Our faculty, we've decided to combine our faculty counselor and induction planning committee reports because Elsie and Christy work so closely together in coordinating events such as this. Elsie Chichester.
I've implemented the use of the Sigma online induction system. We collaborated with the chapter president and WGU Institutional Research Department to facilitate identification of eligible student nominations. We facilitated professional student candidates by collaborating with WGU partners to screen academic authenticity and the disposition issues. Collaborate with induction committee to communicate with eligible candidates and reviewed and process nurse leader applications. My goals for this coming year are to work with the induction committee chair and the institutional research to review the student eligibility reports and collaborate with membership to promote new member recruitment.
Thank you, Elsie. Christy, Induction Planning Committee.
Thank you, President List. Yes, so we have worked closely with Sigma resource staff to learn the online induction system. We've created and implemented more efficient processes for submitting inductees into nominees into the online induction system. We've collaborated with the chapter board to schedule 3 induction ceremonies per year, whether they're live or virtual. We've also communicated with the inductee candidates to facilitate their induction. So our goals for 2018-2019 is that we'll continue to work with President List, Counselor Chichester, and our IR department to review the report criteria for eligible student candidates. We'll also continue to support President List in developing the presentation for induction ceremonies.
Thank you very much. And now we'll move into our committee reports. Finance Committee, Philip Tarantino.
Thank you, President Lisk. The Finance Committee accomplishments for 2017-18 are as follows. We established the committee in our first fiscal year. We recruited committee members. We confirmed committee responsibilities. We collaborated with the treasurer to develop a balanced budget. We reviewed chapter financial documents on a monthly basis. We simplified and presented a monthly income and expense report for board approval. And we drafted chapter financial policies and procedures. The Financial Committee goals for 2018-19 are as follows. We will continue close collaboration with the board and treasurer to oversee chapter financial activity. And we will finalize and secure approval of financial policies and procedures. And lastly, I'd just like to thank all committee members for their dedication and effort. Thank you.
Thank you. Governance Committee, Tammy Owen.
In 2017-2018, we established committee roles and responsibilities. All committee members participated in the SIGMA webinar, Understanding and Adopting the 2017-19 Chapter Bylaws. We worked to revise the chapter bylaws to align with the 2017-2019 SIGMA bylaws, and we presented the revised bylaws to our chapter for approval. In 2018-2019, our goals are to continue to develop chapter governance policies and procedure for board consideration and ensure all chapter activities are in accordance with established bylaws.
Thank you.
And
go ahead.
At this time, I would like to make a motion that we accept the revised chapter bylaws 2017-2019.
May I have a second?
This is Janine Barrett, and I second.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Do we have any opposed on the motion to accept the bylaws as revised? Hearing none, the revised bylaws have been approved. Thank you so much, Tammy, for your work and the Governance Committee's work on revising these bylaws.
Thank you.
Our next committee, Leadership Succession Committee, Candace Johnson.
Hello. Is there an echo?
Yes. There we go. That's much better.
Is it still echoing?
Yes, it is. Candace, would you like me to go ahead and read your report for you? I'll go ahead and read Candace's report. The accomplishments of the Leadership Succession Committee for 2017 and 2018. They conducted collaborative meetings with the SIGMA staff and chapter officers to confirm officer terms. The committee created a timeline for our election process, reviewed processes for identifying future chapter leaders, and reviewed an orientation program and training for new officers. 2018 and 2019 is going to be a busy year for this committee. They're going to complete the orientation training program for the 2019 new officers, solicit members interested in leadership roles. In the fall, we'll start to initiate the call for nominations and screen candidates. In January, finalize the ballot, and in the spring, we're going to send the ballot to the board for review and approval and launch our first chapter election. So thank you so much for all the great work that your committee has done. Membership Involvement Committee, Dr. Patty Rowe was unable to be with us this evening. However, they have been very active as well. The accomplishments of the Membership Committee for the last year included participation in the leadership webinar offered by SIGMA, completed state-based presentations for Tennessee, Washington, and Texas, developed a draft of our membership survey that will be launched next month, sent communication to inactive members inviting them to renew their memberships, sent state-targeted new member outreach to students and alumni, and initiated discussions with myself and the alumni office to identify strategies to recruit alum members. The goals for the Membership Involvement Committee include to launch the membership survey, as I mentioned, participate in commencement celebrations and state-based celebrations, promote faculty membership and engagement through meetings, College of Health articles and emails, identify and implement strategies to attract and engage nurse alums, identify strategies to attract nurse leader members, and develop an online orientation program for new members. Program Committee. Dr. Benson was unable to be with us this evening, and Tracy Starkey will be presenting the Program Committee report on her behalf. Tracy.
Thank you, President Lisk. Accomplishments for 2017 and 2018 involve assisting in planning and implementation of the chartering ceremony. We established program committee and clarified responsibilities, planned and coordinated induction keynote speakers, 2 leadership presentations, and 2 professional development programs. Collaborated with Service Committee to provide donation to Florida Children's Hospital. Participated in numerous WGU recruitment events, including alums and faculty members. Recruited subcommittee members to develop and implement a chapter mentoring program. Coordinated the nomination and preparation of the Rising Star presenters. The 2018-2019 goals include to continue to provide programming in support of Sigma mission, presidential call to action, and chapter strategic plan.
Thank you very much. Our Publicity Committee, Melissa McLaren.
Thank you, Carol. So for our accomplishments for 2017 and 2018, we spent a lot of time establishing the specific look of the Psi Upsilon chapter brand. That included creating templates for chapter flyers, PowerPoint slides, and letterhead. We've also created publicity flyers for chapter events and membership drives. We've provided articles for the College of Health Professions website and the Sigma Connect newsletter, collaborated with the technology chair around social media publicity, and collaborated with chapter president on marketing materials. There are a lot of goals for the 2018-2019 year, including collaborating with the technology committee to increase social media presence. And I encourage all of our new inductees and our listeners to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter so that you can get updates and photos. To implement a social media drive at academic meetings, to collaborate with the WGU marketing team to promote chapter milestones, such as our 1,000 members that will happen pretty soon, I suspect, to collaborate with the membership committee to increase chapter visibility at regional commencements and to help recruit new members, and to collaborate with chapter committees to plan a member engagement event at academic meetings. Thank you, Carol.
Thank you. Our Scholarship and Research Committee, Beth Register was not sure if she could join us. Beth, have you been able to join in on the call this evening?
Yes, I am. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Well, thank you, President Lisk. I'd like to report the accomplishments of the Scholarship and Research Committee for this year, 2017-2018. So our first prime objective was to establish the committee. We clarified responsibilities once we established that group, presented and secured approval for scholarship and grant opportunities for our chapter. We identified scholarship grant and selection criteria for the various awards that we are going to be providing, and then offered scholarship and grant opportunities to members. We reviewed the applications and recommendation, and then we recommended recipients for each of the categories of awards that we newly established this year. The goals for our next year are to refine the scholarship and grant benefits. As you know, with all new things, there are a few things that need to be tweaked, and so we're going to take the opportunity to do just that. We will launch the second application process, which would be our second annual application process, and then we're going to follow up with the previous year recipients to make sure that we actually receive at the chapter level the required materials and then facilitate the disbursement of funds. I would be completely remiss without recognizing my committee membership, and I want to call them out and let them know how much I appreciate them. That's Carrie Bush and Vicki Martin. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Service Committee, Heidi Johnson-Anderson.
Thank you, President Lisk. Accomplishments for 2017-2018 from the Service Committee include philanthropic projects. We contributed to the Chapter Giving Club for Sigma Foundation, and we contributed $1 for each of our members, a $100 donation to the WGU Christmas Food Drive, and a $250 donation to Florida Hospital for Children. Our service projects completed include a collaboration with Phi Gamma Virtual Chapter as we we assisted to staff the first aid station at an Asian Cultural Festival in San Diego, California. For 2018-19, our main goal at this time is to host a Psi Upsilon Service Week during Sigma Founders Week. So during the first week of October, we will be asking our members across the nation to engage in service projects. Thank you.
Thank you. Our Strategic Planning Committee, Leanne Farmer.
Carol, Deborah Abey was going to provide the report.
Oh, I'm sorry, Deborah.
Our accomplishments with the Strategic Planning Committee for 2017-2018, we developed the Strategic Planning Committee. We clarified the responsibilities of the committee. We drafted a chapter strategic plan aligned with Sigma mission and vision and the Sigma Key award criteria. We prepared a strategic plan for 2017 and 2018. We implemented and finalized the strategic plan through board review in February of 2018 and committee review in April 2018. And finally, we collaborated with each officer and committee chair to implement the chapter strategic plan. Our goal for 2018 and 2019 is to provide a list of the 2018 and 2019 strategic goals to the chapter leaders, to monitor the chapter progress in achieving those goals, and submit the key award application with supportive evidence.
Thank you very much. Technology Committee, Janine Barrett.
Thank you, President Lisk. In 2017 and 2018, the Technology Committee was established and we clarified the committee responsibilities with the board and President Lisk. We developed and maintained the Upsilon Circle website, which includes current branding with the new Sigma logo and essential chapter information for our members. We also established and updated and continue to maintain our social media accounts, as Dr. McLaren mentioned, which includes Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. So please be sure and follow us on those social media accounts. Our Technology Committee collaborated with the Publicity Committee to promote chapter events. We facilitated planning and moderated all chapter events on virtual platforms, and we oriented chapter leaders and guests to the event platforms. Our goals for 2018 and 19 include collaborating with the president and the programming committee to research an e-poster platform so that we can have a virtual poster presentation, collaborate with the philanthropy chair and committee to develop a chapter volunteer points program, develop a social media calendar to increase social media engagement, collaborate with the Publicity Committee to develop a social media drive to increase traffic to our accounts and develop a communication plan. And finally, we plan to collaborate with the Publicity Committee to plan a member engagement event at the next academic meetings outside of a poster presentation.
Thank you very much. So that essentially concludes our reports for this evening. I did want to again thank everybody for joining us and just update you on some upcoming events that will be happening. We have Dr. Carol Houston actually presented in June, and I wanted to take this opportunity to remind all of our members that every one of our activities, including our inductions, are recorded and posted on our chapter website for asynchronous viewing. In July, we will be hosting activities in Tennessee to promote recruitment and member outreach. In July and August, we're looking at our technology chair presenting about networking in Sigma, how to navigate the website and social media. September 11th, we're excited to announce that Dr. Gwen Sherwood will be presenting about reflective practice. In October, as Heidi Johnson mentioned, we will be hosting our Founders Day Week of Service. And then in November, we're hoping to conduct a research and evidence-based symposium, which will be our 4th annual, but our 2nd as a chapter. And we encourage everybody to attend our events, watch them asynchronously on our website. And please, if you're interested in becoming more involved, let us know. We'd love to have you engaged. So that concludes our meeting this evening. We've conducted all of our business, and this concludes our event for this evening. And I thank you so much for joining us. Each and every one of you have made this chapter the success that it is, and I thank you for your involvement. And congratulations again to all of our new inductees. Good night, everybody.